Hi, Christina. Thanks so much for joining us today. I just wanted to have you relay your experience with Second Saturday to some of the other people in our community. So if you can just, I think basically what I'll do is I'll ask you a couple questions, and if you can just share your story with us. I just wanted to know first, what drew you to Second Saturday?
Well, I was at the very beginning of the divorce process. It was really fresh, just about 8 weeks or so in. And my therapist forwarded me an email that had information about the workshop. So I thought, well, this is really good. It's a resource. Let me just check it out and see, if it's helpful to me. Because at the time, I was really just looking for help anywhere that I could find it. So that's really what brought me there.
Okay, neat. And so you were able to visit the workshop. It's been a while now, but can you help us know what you found most useful during your time at the workshop?
Sure. I think there were really three things that were particularly helpful at the workshop. The first was obviously at the time I was feeling really emotionally overwhelmed just by everything, trying to process my own feelings about everything, and then trying to manage to keep my three kids' lives as normal as possible. And that was really overwhelming, which made me feel really alone. And so one thing that was really helpful was just to be in the same room with a small group of women. It wasn't that many, but to have other women who were sharing their experiences. And even though we had some differences in the particular facts or situations that we were in, there were a lot of similarities. And that really helped me feel that I was not alone, and that because these women were at different stages in the process also, it helped me kind of see where I was, both in terms of progress of my thinking, in terms of my future, and then also my processing of my emotions. And so that was really, really nice to feel like part of a community of women who were experiencing a lot of the similar issues and concerns, worries, and that also were finding different ways to cope. And some of that was really helpful to me. The second thing was obviously hearing from the three panelists at the workshop. They all brought something really different in terms of a lens to view the experience of divorce. And that really helped me focus my energy on certain key areas that I needed to, areas of my life that I needed to either reorganize or restabilize first, and really prioritize at that time so that I could eventually move on and really try to take some concrete steps towards my future. So it wasn't just highlighting those areas though, they also gave me some really good information and tools in terms of how to do that. So
Mhm.
obviously, when you're talking about emotional issues, seeking help, there were some resources there in terms of how you could find a therapist and what kind of help a therapist could give you. So I found that there was some really specific information that was helpful too. And then the last thing was just that listening to everyone, both the panelists and the attendees at the workshop, it really helped put into perspective my experience and helped affirm for me that some of the things I was already doing were good things, and that I was actually figuring out a little bit on my own how to make my way towards finding that better day. And that was really great because that made me feel really empowered, and that I wasn't totally lost, that I had some good sense of what was good for me, and that a lot of that was lined up with what the panelists had offered in terms of advice and guidance. So it was overall, it was just an empowering experience to be able to talk to folks who knew a lot, both personally about the divorce process and then professionally from their perspectives, things to be thinking about and questions to be asking yourself. So
Neat. Christina, what guidance do you have for those who are starting the divorce process, or who may be thinking about coming to the workshop?
I would say some of the best advice I could give is not to feel paralyzed. So I know that a lot of times folks talk about being overwhelmed by just everything that's happening in that process. But to kind of take that first step and reach out and find some resource, whatever that resource might be. And in this particular instance, the Second Saturday workshops are a great resource. But to take that first step, because then connecting with folks that are sort of dealing with any number of issues in that area really helps connect you with a network of people that can help you with various different areas of your life or questions that you might have to answer as you move forward in the process. And so I would say it is a very overwhelming feeling, and the divorce process is tough, it's complicated, but taking that first step and plugging into a resource can really help you feel like there is a way to get through it and you're not alone, and there's a lot of folks out there who are willing to help.